My dad hung a slab of cured meat from the ceiling and poked it once a day. The grease would drip out through the tiny hole. The four of us would line up and open our mouths just to catch it. That day when it was my turn, I was starving. I couldn't help it. I stuck out my tongue and licked the meat. My dad slapped me right across the face. He shouted, "That bit of grease was for your little brother. With one lick, you stole 3 days of his food." The next day, a stranger came to our house. He tossed 8 copper coins onto the floor. That was my price. The day the trafficker took me away, I didn't cry or make a scene. But my mother kept crying. She didn't even have the strength to stop them. All she could do was tie a strip of red cloth in my hair. The wagon wheels turned little by little, taking me farther away. The wagon was packed with girls, all about my age. Every one of them was skinny and dressed in rags. No one had the energy to talk. All you could hear was quiet sobbing. The wagon would stop every so often, and the curtain would get pulled back. Outside, strange adults would be standing there, looking us over like livestock. Any girl they pointed at would shrink back in fear. Then she'd be dragged out by force, and her crying would fade away fast. Every time one girl was taken, the crying in the wagon got louder. Then it would fall into an even more hopeless whimper. Whenever I saw a hand reach in from outside, I couldn't stop shaking. Because there were only 3 places girls like us could end up. A poor man's wife, a rich family's maid, or a girl in a brothel. None of those roads were easy. But I also knew that if I'd stayed home, I might not have lived at all. So I didn't blame my father, and I didn't blame my mother. I just missed my little brother. Would he ever know he used to have an older sister? Every time I thought about that, my chest ached. Not everyone in the wagon was crying. Audrey didn't cry. She was 2 or 3 years older than me. She always sat there quietly. Sometimes I'd work up the nerve to talk to her. She could tell I was little, so she looked out for me. She never acted like I was annoying. At night, after everyone else had fallen asleep, she'd quietly move closer to me. Then she'd tell me about her family. "The moment I saw you, I thought of my little sister." Her voice dropped and her eyes suddenly turned red. From then on, I called her Big Sister. As the wheels kept turning, the 2 of us huddled close together. The traffickers were cruel. They were scared we'd run if they let us eat too much. So sometimes we'd only get food once every few days. Usually it was just a little thin gruel, or half a hard biscuit that scraped your throat. I was so hungry my head would spin. Iji would always save half her share and sneak it to me. If I tried to refuse, she'd pretend to get mad. She'd say she wouldn't talk to me anymore. So just to calm her down, I'd only take tiny bites. But there were exceptions in that wagon. 10 of the girls were especially pretty, and they were clean too. The traffickers said they were being sent to the palace, so no one dared mistreat them. They always got real food. Sometimes you could even smell oil in it. I looked at the girls who could be sold off at any moment. Then I looked at the pretty girls headed for the palace. And I started to understand that the moment we got off that wagon, our fates would split. I had no idea what was waiting for me up ahead, so I leaned a little closer to Azer. That broken wagon let in cold air from every side. She was the only warmth in it. I never dared mess with the girls headed for the palace. But they were bored, so they started making trouble. Sometimes they'd toss crumbs at our feet on purpose, just to see if we'd scramble for them like dogs. Other times they'd step on our fingers on purpose. Whenever they picked on me, Aji would pull me behind her right away. Then she'd glare at them with those dark eyes of hers. Those girls were a little scared of Asia, so they didn't dare start a real fight with her. At most, they'd roll their eyes. After they left, AZ would lower her voice and tell me, "Just hang in there, it'll pass." I nodded. I could put up with everything else, but I never expected that one day they'd set their eyes on my red hair ribbon. It was the only thing my mother had left me. Of course, I wouldn't hand it over, but the more I refused, the more they wanted it. They even reached out to yank it off while I held on for dear life. This was from my mother. "Your mother? The one who sold you for 8 copper coins?" Aja woke up and saw what was happening. "Don't touch her stuff!" "Oh, so you're asking for it now?" The other palace girls crowded in too. The wagon instantly turned into chaos. The trafficker yanked open the curtain. "What's all this noise? You want to die?" When he saw us tangled up fighting, his face went dark. Especially when he saw the palace girls with their clothes all wrinkled. That sent him over the edge. He yanked AG and me apart. "You 2 little brats trying to ruin my business? I swear you must be tired of living. When we get there, I'll sell you straight into the lowest brothel." The second I heard that, I started shaking all over, tears pouring down my face. Then AG suddenly dug out a sharp piece of broken stone and slashed it right across one girl's face. The 2 girls started bleeding instantly. Everyone froze. Even the trafficker was stunned. Azra stared right at him. "Now you can't sell either of them." The trafficker snapped out of it and looked at the 2 bleeding girls. He raised his hand, ready to hit AG. "You little bitch, I'll kill you."
Sir, don't be stupid.
We're almost at the capital, and their faces are already ruined. "If you beat us to death too, where are you gonna find 2 replacements?" His hand froze in midair. Azra pointed at me, then at herself. "Look at us, we're no worse looking than they are. If you use us instead, you can still save the money from this trip. And if you can't turn in the girls? Or if you hand them over disfigured, do you think your bosses will let that slide?" Think about it. The moment she said that, the whole wagon went dead silent. The only sound left was the wounded girls crying. The trafficker stood there stunned. His eyes moved up and down over me and AG. Before that, we'd been too dirty and timid for him to even notice us. But now that he really looked, I was small, sure, but my features were delicate enough. And AG was even better, especially those bright eyes. You 2 got lucky. Starting today, you're taking their place. AZ and I were given clean clothes by the trafficker's people. At least we weren't being sold into a brothel. But the place we were going was the palace. Ozzy, is the palace better than home? I don't know, but at least we're still together. The wagon creaked on, getting closer and closer to the capital. I leaned against AZ and watched the blurry fields slip past outside. My heart was heavy with whatever came next. Once the wagon entered the palace, AZ and I were separated. I was sent to the wardrobe office. She was sent to the laundry office. Every now and then, she'd sneak over to see me. She'd slip me a little food, or teach me a few things about surviving in the palace.